Hey guys, welcome back, and today I want to talk about a different topic altogether. So one of the reasons of cryptocurrencies not really growing up is because of the regulations. So most of the regulators have this opinion that cryptocurrencies are prone to scam, money laundering and whatnot. And that was one of the reasons why the recent Reserve Bank of India has cracked down on the Bitcoin exchanges, saying that none of the banks should be dealing with the cryptocurrency exchanges. And so the major reason that they gave is that cryptocurrency can be used for scam, money laundering and whatnot. And that is why we don't want to support. Now, what it actually means, what it indirectly means, that the banks are not prone to scam, banks are clean. However, that appears that that's not really true. So recently, I'm sure you've heard this news that Bank of Maharashtra's CEO was held for 2,043 crores of scams. So as you can clearly see that just because you have a banking system, it does not guarantee that there is no scam at all. And so in fact, I was going through the list of the bank scams which have only happened in India so far. And in fact, the list is pretty huge. So of course, if I have to go through all the bank scams that has happened right from when the banking system started till now, I think I'll have to spend one entire day in looking into that. Here are the biggest banking scams witnessed in India. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the scams in banking sector. Then we also be going to looking at the scams into the cryptocurrency sector. And we will find out what's the difference and what's the best way out. So, and just to blame that cryptocurrencies are scamming, and that is why we don't want to regulate it or maybe ban all the banks for that single reason, look bad. So let's go ahead and find out. So some of the list, of course, you heard about the Bank of Maharashtra. Now here is the list. So there are about 25,600 cases of banking fraud has been registered until December last year. And you have like all the banks almost, ICICI Bank here, 429 at State Bank of India, 244 at Standard Chartered. And there were some employees involved into this space as well. So 60 employees from State Bank, 49 from HDFC Bank, and 35 from Axis Bank. Now, one of the things that we have actually seen and noticed is most of these scams really happens when you give actually a power to one person, right? So it would be foolish to actually blame the person who actually did the fraud. Instead of that, why not blame the system which makes them powerful and which lets them abuse that power? Why not take that power away? Because by nature, humans are that way. If you give them the power, they will be greedy and they will abuse the power. And so that is where the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies comes into picture, where is the decentralization, right? So let's have a look at some of the cryptocurrency scams as well. And so here are some of the cryptocurrency scams as well. I don't know. I mean, cryptocurrency scams are like maybe 4 years, 5 years, but the banking scams are been there for about 100 years now. So that's one of the difference that we really need to see. So here are some of the 5 biggest cryptocurrency scams now. ICOs, of course, one of them are ICOs, and then there is OneCoin scam, as everyone knows. This was a Ponzi scheme. BitConnect, the recent one, the Ponzi scheme. Plexcoin, the Ponzi scheme. So most of these cryptocurrency scams are nothing but the Ponzi scheme. So here is something that I really want to bring in front of you. Now, all the cryptocurrency scams that we have seen so far, in fact, most of them are actually nothing but the Ponzi schemes or pyramid schemes, where a person gets paid because, there are different levels and all that. The person on the top gets paid a piece of everyone. And what you will find unique about this structure, the pyramid structure, is that this used to happen even when there was no Bitcoin, right? This used to happen with the fiat money earlier, just about a decade back or maybe 12 years back. It's not that. Now, of course, the Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes happen through Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because I think this is an easier tool because it is a faster money, right? But it's not that they never used to exist with the fiat money. With the fiat money, there have been like 100 years of there still used to be pyramid scheme, as you're all aware of that. And the same thing is now happening with the Bitcoin. So it has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's not that if the cryptocurrencies do not exist, there won't be pyramid scheme. There used to be pyramid scheme earlier, and there will be pyramid scheme in future also, irrespective of whether they're cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin or not. So that's not the right reason. Now coming back to the topic once again, that we saw the similarity of the banking scams Here, if you want to go to the list of all the banking scams here, so now you might ask that what's the difference between that? And you might have this argument that, well, Shiv, you're right, that there's a scam in the banking sector, there's a scam in cryptocurrency scam sector. But you know what, where there's a cryptocurrency scam, people actually lose money, and whenever there's a banking scam, people don't lose money. To an extent, that's quite true, because if you had some money into the Punjab National Bank or any other bank and the bank was whatever, scammed or anything, you will still get your full money. But that's not really the case with the cryptocurrencies. If somebody invested into BitConnect scam or one kind scam and whatnot, people will not get their money. So one of the simple reason is the regulations, right? Now, most of these banks, as you can see, these are public sector banks, and the governments actually holds about 50% of the shares. So as you can see, public sector banks are banks where majority stake, that is more than 50%, is held by the government. And that is what the regulation means. Since the banks are regulated, it is government's responsibility that they actually pay the individual, even if there is the bank commits a fraud or whatever, for whatever reason, right? So that's the major difference. But when you talk about the Ponzi scheme, now, if you look at these things, right, these are nothing but the Ponzi scheme. And even if there is a Ponzi scheme in the fiat money, and let's say if you invested into a Ponzi scheme which runs through a fiat money, which is not regulated, there's no one who's going to pay you. So the reason the bank scams are not so harmful at an individual level, because people get paid because governments have rights to print as much money as they want, and so they can always give. But one thing that we don't realize, that as and when they print money, the value of the existing currency supply in the world, that goes down, because all of a sudden there is more supply now, right? It's the same analogy that if you have unlimited number of gold supply, suddenly nobody wants gold. People want something which is scarce. So that's another reason, right? Now, let's go ahead and find out what should be the approach of the regulators, right? Now, if you remember when e-commerce came out back in about a decade ago, right? I think the Amazon and the other companies used to exist in US and other countries. But in India, I think Flipkart was the first company, I think, who wanted to register as an e-commerce company. And one of the reason the regulators did not allow them or did not license them was because they said that the e-commerce is risky. You can scam people, right? Because that was too early stages of internet. But the fact is this, that e-commerce was a new technology, and so is the cryptocurrency the new technology, right? And so the new technologies, the regulators actually need to understand the new technology. Now today, there are so many companies in India which are e-commerce and doing business today, right? But earlier, at the earlier stage, it was neglected and it was called a scam. The e-commerce was called a scam, trust me. But now that's not the case. And I believe that this is the same space that we are here with the cryptocurrencies and bitcoins also. So a lot of regulators, a lot of governments across the globe, I'm saying, they look at cryptocurrency as something scammy, something not good. But, instead of looking at something bad, why not look at the technology and really help prosper the technology, and really look at the bad part of it, which is kind of this, right? Which kind of this Ponzi schemes where people can lose money. And let me know if you would like to add anything to this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.